Andrea, we are going back to Private Eyes, and I think what we're going to have to start doing is rapping, doing little hip hop introductions for our new things. How are your skills? Are you going to be scratching the record, and I'll be doing the singing?
Can I just tell you a fun thing? So back in the day, my friend and I think we were juniors in high school, we had cassette tapes and we had microphones, and we actually recorded an entire cassette tape worth of us singing. And one of them was a rap song, and I was rapping on it. I'm horribly bad. One of my friends still has that cassette tape.
I was
We
about to
called
say.
ourselves Dr. Draina, which kind of ties into this episode because my nickname was actually Dre, which is the
Right.
character in here. So, and her name was Dana. So, Dr. Draina. And we actually had a manager, which was our health teacher. And this is what happens in a small town. We gave our cassettes away to people and they would listen to them and play them. Yep. Thank you. So, I
Wait,
actually
wait. So,
have an
so this cassette wasn't just for the two of you. You guys actually
Oh,
distributed.
we actually made Christmas tins. And so if you were one of the selected people who got one of our Christmas tins, we went up to the local hobby. It was like a little hobby shop. It was a cute little, I mean, small town, 500 people. So we would just buy random stuff. We filled a little, those
All right.
the shortbread cookies, those tins. So my dad loved them. So I took those tins from our basement. We filled them with just random stuff and our cassette tapes, and then placed them in friends' lockers. And so they got a Christmas tin from us. So thank you.
But depending
Thanks
on
for
how
bringing
good,
up that fun memory. That was
de-
actually, and we made T-shirts. It was a big deal, Eric.
depending on how good your cassette was, it was either something that you gave to your friends or you'd give to your enemies.
That and it's kind of a combo. So look at
Uh,
that, look at that. I've already been there, done that, Eric. So let's dive into this episode. So it's
six.
called The Six. It is episode 5 from season 1 of Private Eyes. Very short synopsis. Hired by an unlikely source, Angie and Shade look for a missing minor. So what I liked, again, my first note was, well, her nickname is Dre, and that was my nickname. So big win for me right off the bat.
Does anyone ever
Um,
call you that still?
so I did in college because Andrea versus Dre, when you're playing sports, easier to say Dre,
Right.
especially in the basketball court, to like, if you're like, hey, Dre, I'm open or whatever. So no, but I have told people when I'm playing tennis now, and they're kind of like, oh, maybe I'm going to call you Dre instead of Andrea. And I don't care. I like the nickname, so I'm fine with either one. But another thing I loved about this was we had Detective Derek Nolan. He is back. And woo, was he ever? I thought the mystery itself was well done. I enjoyed the twist with Derek and Angie at the end. The chemistry between those two, wowzers. I mean, I like Angie and Shade together, but after seeing her and Derek, I'm like, well, shoot, I don't know. I kind of am liking these two together because they clearly have fire chemistry. And again, I don't always notice the chemistry. Like it has to be a hit you in the face for me to notice. And this was a definite hit you in the face. They got some chemistry. I liked that again, we had more of a change of setting because we got to explore a different side of Toronto. We got to see the nightclub scene. I like how they interweaved his daughter into this one as well. And like, oh, look at, hey, we have two young kids, and just showing like, this is what it's like to be a high schooler in modern day, which is always interesting because I also, side note, love Ginny and Georgia on Netflix and watching. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but
No, my roommate from college is telling me I should watch it.
yeah, I think you would like it. It's got a little bit of mystery in there too. But for me, I also like to see the high school side of it and just how much high school has changed. No one there is making their own like hand printed t-shirts with Dr. Draina and handing out cassette tapes. We'll just say that. So it's just interesting to see the youth and how it's shifted, and just to see the Jules and Dre and how they're different, and different schools and different
Right.
lifestyles there. So I enjoyed it. It was another great episode in my mind. What about you?
It's funny, our notes are so similar, but
Your
I
nickname
do,
was Dre as well.
no, not that far. But I do have a little one thing that you did not mention, surprisingly. I cannot say I hated the beginning when Angie gets out of the car in her little leather mini skirt and shows up. She looked quite, quite good. Quite good. And it was great because
You're shocked I didn't say that?
yes. I'm like, how is that not one of your things? But and it was so funny because when Shade looks at her, it's like, oh, the, walk of shame because, clearly she's in her outfit from the night before. And she just comes back. And this is the thing I love about it, just their repertoire between the two. And she's like, I prefer to call it my stride of pride. And
So good.
it was just, it was fantastic, and it was also, girl power of not being, shame for going out and having a good time or and all that sort of stuff. So kind of liked it there. And then the next thing I said, we got some Detective Derek, and like you said, I'll just a little foreshadow. I'll be discussing their scene a little later.
Did
So,
you have you went on because you said you were going to watch more of these? Did
well,
you
no,
or no?
because
Okay.
Hallmark is the worst, and it has to be a licensing thing. I told you so. My plan was when I was going to on my trip, I was just going to download essentially and watch, as much Private Eyes as I could. You can't download it. It's not available for downloading. So I watched
Oh,
a whole bunch of Acorn and Redbox, which, it's got to be a licensing thing, or why they would have, because most everything is available.
no, I Murder She Wrote, you have to be
But
the paid higher
but
tier to download Murder She Wrote from Peacock. Because I did notice
but
that
once
when
again,
I
I'm sure
went.
that's a licensing thing because it's
Oh
not a
yeah.
Peacock,
Money. It's a money
right?
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I did not get to watch going forward, which ending, like I said, we'll talk about it a little later. What an ending! What an ending! I also had in here that, like you, I love the Jules character in here because she's not just his daughter. She's a contributing character. She gives
Yeah.
him the advice of, hey, teenager, while she may not have her phone, teenagers are never offline.
Yeah.
And, that was one of the things that allowed them to, track her down and find her. And then just, when they go play poker together with that group, just the way that they communicate and like you're saying, oh, the chemistry between the two of them, I am, and I doubt it happens, but I am just hoping that they always stay just professional partners and, can keep some tension there and some flirtation, but they don't ever connect because I just love their dynamic. And I think if they actually became a couple, it kind of would ruin it a little, which, I like. Once again, we'll get to it in my other scene. Angie definitely can have some chemistry with, elsewhere, and it'd be just fine. Just fine.
Well, what we didn't like, I have nothing. Like for me, this one flew by, perfect pacing, because often it's when they start to drag on that I lose interest. And I mean, I devoured this episode. I was really tempted to start episode 6, and I'm like, okay, no, because let me just try to do it one at a time. Because we recorded, which we had said, we
Right.
recorded a few weeks ago, and so I devoured this as soon as we were done recording, and then sat for like 2 weeks waiting to watch another one. So
And it's
probably
hard because then you're like, oh, wait, which episode are we talking about?
right. So
Everything
now
like
I'm
that.
gonna watch episode 6 and can't wait to see more, hopefully more Derek as well. What
Well,
about you?
I
Anything you
think they
didn't like?
established that he is going to be a continuing character, at least for the first season, right? I think that that's going to be there. For me, and we'll get into it in a second with the mystery. Well, I'll just roll into the mystery as well. I found the mystery for me and like the overall story just okay. I found it a little predictable, and so the mystery of it wasn't a great mystery. I didn't think, but I didn't like it. This is what's so hard about some of these. It's like, oh, what you didn't like. Okay, so the mystery wasn't great, but I enjoyed the overall story. I enjoyed their relationship. I enjoyed all the things that came through there, but it was not necessarily, I think, the strongest mystery. And but it's hard to say it's what I didn't like, but it is, it's just an average, predictable mystery, and so I guess it's just not fantastic. How about you?
Well, I didn't solve this one. I thought it was well done.
Really?
I thought they introduced just enough without giving us
Okay.
too much. And so for me, I liked it. I mean, if I like really, I mean, you kind of knew, but I also
Right.
was kind of in denial of like wanting to solve
Okay.
it, I think.
I have a question before you go further. I just want to ask when you're watching, because my wife, when she watches mysteries, doesn't actively try to solve.
Yeah, I
She
don't
and she
either.
lets it come to her and lets
Yeah.
the movie go. Whereas I am
No.
actively like, how quickly can I solve it? So
No.
you're the one who just lets it come
Uh-huh.
at you, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Except for this, except for that Golden Girls mystery book. I am trying to I'm like, who could it be? I'm very like invested. So I feel
Well,
like a book is a little
but
different
because you're
because
right,
it
they
can
have the
float around.
time to give you
Yeah.
the red herrings and
Yep.
take you down paths. Whereas
Yep.
in the movies,
I just
even the longer
chill.
ones like the Mystery 101, which we'll talk about later this week, it's still only that 124 minutes. Whereas that book, you've got, I don't know how long that one is, but 8+ hours.
325 pages.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting. That would be a good poll to see what type of mystery viewers are out there. If they're more like you or me, because that is an interesting
I
difference.
I just thought, all right, we're totally, uh winging it here. I think what I'll do is the Golden Girls mystery that you're reading right now. What's it called again?
The Cheesecake Murder, I
Cheesecake
think.
Murders. It's on Audible, and but I'll read it, and we can do a book review coming up on one of the episodes
I
since we're
was
not
going to
getting
review
Hallmark.
it. I was going to review it on my Instagram already because I'm like, ooh,
Okay,
I think people are going to love it. So that would be a
yeah,
good one.
since it's we're not
I'll
getting
put
new
that in our
mysteries,
episode
what the
notes.
heck?
Great. Okay. Well, standout scene or performance. I think we're both going to have the same one. That final scene. I
Oh
mean,
yes,
like the way that Derek looked at her
the
and
way she looked at him.
spoke so slowly, the tension, the passion. You're just like, uh, uh, I mean, yeah, yes, please. The way that Derek looked at her, yes, all about that. That was such fire.
And I was even more, I think, passionate in the fact that she's like, no, right? You can just see it. It just made it smolder more than had they done that final, like, okay, let's move on. But then it just goes back to the beginning, and you just see like Matt's trying to figure it out. And that's the last, I'm sure for you too, when you were thinking of who it was, you did not go there, right?
No, I didn't even think it was anyone. Like my whole thing
Oh,
was, I'm like, oh, she just was like out
well,
and
she
she
did.
was out at like a party and she didn't
Okay.
have any guy. Like for me, I didn't even think there was a guy.
Because
I
she
just
did
thought it
tease him
was,
saying, oh, am I bluffing? Am I
yeah.
not? Right.
I just
So,
assumed there was no guy. And I'm like, no, she was just out
okay.
late. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Wow. What? Did not expect that.
Yeah. And like you say, it, if we had the little spicy meter going, this would be like the five jalapenos kind of thing. And it wasn't like the kiss or anything, right? It was just the tension that they did. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm right there. Like I say, I think we watched where sometimes we do not feel like we watch the same thing. We definitely watch the same episode here because our notes are pretty spot on, other than
Oh,
there. But I think it just gets back to when I like solving the mystery
we're
where
not
I
solving the
actively
same.
do and you don't. It's just a
Yeah.
different way people watch mysteries.
Well, final thoughts. Like at this point, so we have 10 episodes, I think, in season one. There are 5 seasons. I'm thinking like we should do what we did with Rosemary and Thyme and like devour the second season and just do a recap on the second season
Okay.
rather than the whole every episode, just because I'm like, I wanna watch more of these like
It
faster.
and you know, credit to the series because you and I both struggle. It's like as soon as you finish it, you're like, I want to watch another. And it's hard because I had that happen earlier where I was like, I had to force myself not to watch and binge more. So I'm all right, I'm down with that. I'll crank them out.
Okay. Yeah, because we have some fun. I mean, I think fun stuff, as original as we can be for what we're reviewing, since Hallmark's not giving us a ton of
All
new
right.
stuff.
Well,
Because I think we'll dive into Diagnosis Murder as well, and if we do some of the Golden Girls, the book review, and then I think we're going to circle back to Rosemary and Thyme season 2 recap. So if anyone is still maybe on the edge, or I don't know how far people have watched all of those seasons, but I think that will be towards the end of July. We kind of have it, penciled in. So if you're still watching that one, I'm almost done with season 3 now of Rosemary and Thyme. So I'm plugging
I
away
I'll be
there.
honest, I've been watching Totally Acorn, some Harry Wild, Death Valley. There was
I am
another
Diagnosis Murder on Hallmark Plus.
there.
Like I am just binging all of that again. I love it. And
So
I've gotten some DMs saying that people are really loving Diagnosis Murder who've never seen it before. So I'm so
I've
happy people are
I'll be
watching.
honest, I have never seen an episode,
Really?
a single episode. No.
Okay. So I'm going to pick out some. I think I'm going to do one from maybe every season to give you a little taste of it. And I'm going to try to pick out the best, in
Okay.
my opinion, the best one from each season. So that will be your introduction. And hopefully that will hook you into being like, all right, I want to watch more of this.
Okay. Well, I told you I did not think I'd enjoy the Murder She Wrote and the ones that you picked out. I enjoyed especially the one, I think it was, you said it was your favorite,
Home fries.
the home fry. Yeah, yeah,
Isn't
the one
that
in the
so good?
cafe, right?
Yes. So good.
So, all right.
Yay. All right.
So next week we'll recap the rest
Episode
of the
6.
season, huh?
Well, no, I don't know. I would think just episode 6. Keep plugging away season one episode at a time, and then dive in from
And
there.
okay. I
I
was,
can't, that's a lot to, well, although I'll watch all the other stuff I'm watching.
yeah,
Isn't
it's
that funny how you're like,
it's five
wait, no.
episodes. 5 episodes.
I will watch, I'm sure, 5 episodes of Diagnosis Murder before this week. But
Well,
different attention because I know what's going to happen. I don't have to pay it as close of
right.
attention. So, all right. Well, it's been a pleasure.
It has been. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel.